And thank you, Mark, for warming the seats up for us. So I want to start off by talking about platforms. It seems like every few years, there's always a new platform we need to talk about, whether it's a streaming platform to a social media platform, but we've now evolved to the point where we need to address the emergence of a new type of platform, which is a fandom platform. And right now, what we're starting to see are technologies, entrepreneurs, platforms that are evolving to address the busyness of the fan culture now into a business that we have to look at as possibly maybe not just catering to fans, curating fans, but a community of fans where we may have to coin new F words. And I think in this case, the safest one out there is Fandustry, the fan industry. And I'm just very honored to have these two lovely gentlemen come on stage because they are right now not only on the cutting edge, possibly maybe on the bleeding edge of this emergence of new fandom platforms. I forgot to do the coin toss earlier before we go on stage, so we'll have Wooseo, who I think flew farther to the stage, to speak first about how you came to bring b.stage to life, because this isn't your first attempt, and this is not your first foray into the fandom space. You actually have a very interesting history as to how you got here. If anything, this is fandom 2.0 for you, so please share your story.
So yeah, I'm the CEO and co-founder of Be My Friends, and Be My Friends is the company which provide all-in-one solution for the fandom business, from the tech solution for the merchandise, logistics, and marketing, and consultation. But before this company, I was the founder of and CEO of Weverse. Weverse is the maybe the number one K-pop fandom platform in the world. And in the 2017, the CEO of Hive, the BTS management company, he told me, his name is Hitman, and he told me that, Steve, we have more than 10 million followers on the YouTube and the Twitters, but the problem was that we didn't have any kind of information at all, right? Even though we have such a lot of traffic, or the only thing that I can do is that upload new contents to be engaged our followers, right? It was a super big problem at the time, and Steve, why don't you build up the new fandom platform for our clients and our superfans? In 2028, we launched the Weverse. It was very successful because we could have the more than 10 million fans from around the world, and we have the e-commerce on the platform. We was very successful. But later I found that there are many entertainment company and the labels who have big artists on the company, or have the more than 10 artists under the label, which wanted to have their own fandom platform, right? So in 2021, I decided to leave the company and start new business to provide all the infrastructure for the entertainment company. So for this time, I just anyone who want to have their own fandom environment, we can just solve the problem in less than 1 month. And nowadays we have more than 950 artists on the platform as clients, and they made a lot of money, and they are fully engaged with their fans. It is amazing, and we are keep growing, and we are seeing more, there is more opportunity out there, about the fandom business.
Great, thank you. And Jaeson, like many of the other panelists that we were privileged to have before us, is not just an entrepreneur, and I should actually state for the record, a serial entrepreneur, because he's had many hits with startups, but also, if it's okay if I can reveal, that also a musician as well. I've heard many of his rap tracks, so I don't know whenever I talk to Jaeson which hat to wear, which is either the tech side or the music side, but regardless, he's one of the few people I know that somehow manages to take the balancing act of music tech to the next level. And my understanding, and please share with everybody here, is Openwav, which is a very fan-centric fandom platform, earlier iterations and earlier versions were a bit different to what we see now. So if you could just sort of share with us the process, but more importantly, the pivot to get Openwav to where it is today. And again, all of you took elevators from the first floor up here to the 35th floor. So if you had to give us the elevator pitch, Jaeson, bring it down. And if the elevator has to break halfway, that's okay. Go.
The elevator pitch, before I say the elevator pitch, I think you in the future are going to be called the godfather of superfans. This guy created Weverse. I mean, now he's creating b.stage, and now he has over almost 1,000 superfan platforms. We're not going to get into it, but I just think you're going to make Hitman look like
Thank you.
a small guy very soon. But my name is Jaeson Ma, and Bernie, we go back literally 15 plus years. So it's an honor, and thank you. It's great to see an old friend. Openwav is a music platform to empower independent artists to monetize and engage their true fan communities. And so why I built it was a longer story in the pivot, but around April this year, I started really digging into the creator economy, and within the creator economy, Goldman Sachs came out last year with a report that only 4% make over six figures of a almost $500 billion industry as far as TAM. And I looked even deeper, and I realized the creators that are suffering the most within the creator economy are actually independent music artists. So if you guys know the stats, number one, streaming doesn't pay, hello, unless you're The Weeknd, right? Unless you are a major artist, which is the top 0.1 percentile. But independent artists last year on Spotify, less than 0.4% made $10,000. Just let that sink in again. Less than 0.4% of independent artists around the world, which is the majority of musicians and artists that are uploading on Spotify, made $10,000. So I meet independent artists every single week, and literally they're either bagging groceries at Erewhon while still trying to do gigs at night, while still trying to teach guitar, while still trying to hold 2-3 jobs, and it's just not sustainable. And so what I tell artists now is, you got to change your mindset. Because I believe the lie from 2012, the invention of Instagram till now, if you watch the movie Social Dilemma on Netflix, it's created a lot of mental health challenges, is challenging your self-image, is challenging your income. Why? Very simply, social media doesn't pay you even if you have 1 million followers. Spotify doesn't even pay you even if you have 1 million monthly listeners. Snoop Dogg got on a stage at Milken last year and said, I have 1.5 billion streams on this one track, and I got paid 40 grand, right? And so if you're getting 1 billion streams and you're only getting less than low 5 figures, there's something broken about this industry. And it doesn't matter if you're selling CDs, vinyl, or now selling streams, music artists aren't getting paid. And so when I started Openwav, I realized, okay, what do artists need to actually make money right now? Well, how are independent artists making money? It's still old school. Selling tickets to the shows, physical merchandise, and now you're starting to see digital merchandise. b.stage, Weverse, OnlyFans. I know you watching OnlyFans. And Patreon. On and on and on, right? And the reality is this, is that I've been telling artists, change your mindset. Instead of getting 1 million followers on Instagram and TikTok and they're not paying you, instead of trying to get 1 million monthly listeners on Spotify and Spotify's not paying you, try to build 1,000 true fans. If you build 1,000 true fans and they give you $10 a month, which is Starbucks coffee, that's $120,000 US annually a year. That's what C-suite executives get around the world. And so when you change your paradigm and you're like, wait a second, I'm just going to try to build 1,000 true fans, and I'm going to give them access to early tickets. I'm going to give them access to my music first. I'm going to give them access to exclusives. I'm going to give them access to premium merchandise, discounts. Those fans will stay with you. And I always share this analogy, like, what if you met the weekday before the weekday? I'm sorry. What if you met the weekend before the weekend? Messed up the drop there. But his name was Weekday. And before he had 10 million followers, he only had 10,000 followers. But you were a follower of Weekday number 1, number 25, number 101, number 200. And you had that Weekday badge. And 5 years later, he does have 10 million followers. He is performing at the Super Bowl. But you have forever access to backstage, first in line, discounts, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now you actually become something that's meaningful to that artist, and that's what Openwav is. We are the 1,000 true fan platform. If you're on Openwav and you're a nobody right now, you're a weekday right now, but 5 years from now you're gonna be a weekend, and you wanna build your 10,000 true fans, giving you $10 a month, which is $1.2 million a year, you might not ever need to sign with a label. I'll stop there.
That is the elevator broke, and I can't find the emergency button pitch, but love it. Well done. Now, throwing the mic back to Steve, obviously when you came back out with essentially, let's call it what it is, an improved version of Weverse. Yeah. And again, we keep throwing Weverse out just to give everybody the dumbed down background as to what it is. This is the fan-centric platform that is owned and operated by Hybe, the home to, I think there's a little band that you might have heard of out of Korea called BTS. And it has basically become the go-to platform for K-pop fans around the world.
Yeah, right.
And the fact that you walked away from essentially a market-leading platform to tear down, build up, start over, I mean, that's truly remarkable. That takes tremendous willpower and certain body parts I'm not allowed to say. However, that being said, what was the pain point that you felt you needed to solve that Weverse wasn't addressing? What was the pain point that you said, you know what, this is real and I need to figure out how to fix this?
Yeah, so as I told you, the Weverse was very successful in the K-pop market. But unfortunately, thankfully, they are on the high. So we have BTS and we have the many K-pop artists from the Hybe, and it was very successful. But if I wanted to have more artists from the other entertainment company, they told me that Steve, your platform is such a great, but we don't want to join your platform because we are competing each other. Because they already know that about data, how data is important. Because once they are selling their merchandise or selling their membership program on the Weverse, all the data from the other artists, they already know that. They can use that data for their artists, the marketing for their artists, right? So it was very hard to have a big name from the K-pop artists into the Hybe. And at the same time, I just wanted to try to expand our business into the other, the artists. I mean, from the U.S., the other area, and they told me that the Hybe, I mean, the Weverse is too K-pop, because they just wanted. Of course, the old business model based on the Weverse is great. But at the same time, they just wanted to do something different because all the musician and all the IP is totally different, right? They just wanted to build up their own platform, right? So I found that, and I tried that when I worked for the Hybe. I told to the Hitman, the CEO of the Hybe, hey, it's time to build up something new for the new artists. Instead of providing a K-pop platform, why don't you provide whole the infrastructure for each of the artists? So, but he told me that Steve, we have the Weverse, and I don't want to lose the power of the all the platform. So that's why I left the company. But when I left the company, the He-Man told me that Steve, I don't think you can be a successful without BTS. But because at the time, 5 years ago, I was not sure that the reason that Weverse was very successful is because of with BTS or because of platform, right? So, but I believe that there are 100 BTS out there, and anyway they need their own platform, fandom platform. So I just left the company, and for this time I will prepare for the white label fandom platform for the artists. That's it. But it was very tough because I was the CEO of the Weavers, but at the same time it means that there is a very strong platform out there. I'm competing with the Weavers, right? For this time to build up all the platform, it takes almost 2 years, and with zero artists at the time. But as I told you, now we have more than 900 artists, and it was very successful. But still I have to go more further. But anyway, so we, in terms of number wise, we already defeat the Weavers, and we are keep going, right?
And sort of leaning into what Steve was talking about, and this is obviously something you yourself has gone through as well, Jaeson, as an entrepreneur, is that anytime you put out not just an innovative, but more importantly, a disruptive idea out there to investors, what was the initial reaction or pushback that you figured out, you know what, if I can't address this to investors, how am I going to bring this to market? What was that initial challenge to sell the idea that this is not only theory, but this is something you could put into practice, and this is something you could bring to reality? What was that biggest challenge, that mental hurdle, that obstacle that you were able to break through to make that breakout platform?
I think the number one question you'll always get from investors is, how do you compete against Instagram? How do you compete against TikTok? How do you compete against OnlyFans? How do you compete against Patreon? And what are you doing differently? And what is going to stop them from overnight doing what you're doing, right? And so what I've been telling investors, partners, clients, artists, managers, label executives is Openwav is a platform before platforms. Meaning, we're the inverse of TikTok and Instagram and Spotify. Use TikTok, Instagram, Spotify for marketing, for awareness, to build your following, right? But we want 1%. We're the 1% true fan platform. So if you have 100,000 fans on Instagram or Spotify, we want 1,000 who are paying you as an artist on Openwav. And they're buying your tickets, they're buying your physical merch, they're buying your digital merch, and they are a part of your true fan chat community. And so really, Openwav is a storefront for all these other platforms for artists to actually monetize and engage. And sometimes I joke, but I say we're the OnlyFans for artists. We're the OnlyFans for creators. By the way, OnlyFans printed $5 billion cash, okay, last year, and paid 80% to their creators, right? And their number one segment is not porn that's growing. I'm not trying to make a commercial for OnlyFans right now. But literally, their number one segment is non-porn, right? It's literally just teachers who want to teach basketball, someone that wants to do piano lessons, and literally anyone that has a skill and is able to create content that people want to actually pay for. And there's no advertising. That's a key thing. With b.stage, as well as Openwav, it's a non-ad platform. So we're the antithesis, inverse of all these other platforms that are pushing their algorithm, right? Because they have advertisers and they're selling your data. In Openwav, you own the data. You own the IP. You own the email. You own the phone number. You own every single true fan, every single customer directly. And that's the key thing. And so I would say, really going back to Godfather Man here, he really has done something. I don't think people understand how complex and how difficult it is to build a Weverse. Has anyone ever downloaded Weverse, tried Weverse? Has anyone actually used Weverse? Try it, because when you do, you're going to be like, wow, this thing's like a whole nother planet, right? And we're talking about hundreds of millions of revenue, right? And then now with b.stage, similar, right? And so anyways, I think you can probably speak to that as well.
Yeah, and so Steve, building off of that, thank you, Jaeson. You're the best hype man. I got to get you on stage more and more often. You know, again, Steve, one of the things that impresses me about your journey and your story is the fact that you were at the top, you decided to build back from scratch, and again, you were putting together something on the market that was different than your original product, your original service. But at some point, there was a moment of validation, and I'm wondering, it's usually who was that client, or who was that investor, or who was that artist that got behind you and said, you know what, I like it, I'm all in. Who was or what was that moment that said, you know what, I'm on the right track and this is going to take us next level? Is there a specific person or moment that made you basically say, yeah?
Yes, for the artists, no, in South Korea we have four different biggest entertainment group, the SM Entertainment, the JYP, in the Hive, in the YZ. But in these days, many artists from this big entertainment company, they are all independent, right? So when they are going independent, they are taking care of all the music by themselves, right? But they don't have any kind of infrastructure for the fandom business, even though they have already so many super fans out there, right? Because they do not under any big entertainment company anymore. Anyway, they need to make more money from the super fans. In the case, we now we have the G Dragon, and they are already independent from the Big Bang. And the moment that I feel like oh my God, our the old business model is realizing is that we provide our solution to the CJ ENM. And the CJ ENM have their own fandom platform, which name is Plus Chat. But they start 1.5 years ago. They start with their 13 artists on the platform, but now they have 43 artists under the platform. So it means that any of the company which have the many multiple artists under the company, maybe the management company or labels, if you guys have more than 5 artists in the company, anyway, you can have your own fandom platform, and you can leverage all the traffic, all the fans for your artists less than in a month, and it'll be great because you can understand how your fandom is and how you can make your money from the fandom without any kind of platform from out there. So it'll be great, yeah.
And Jaeson, to follow up on that, in terms of a pivotal moment, what fascinates me about Openwav is you worked with an artist who could have easily been one of your biggest clients, but you decided, you know what, maybe partner. Could you talk about sort of how Wyclef Jean became part of Openwav and why you think bringing in an artist, not as a client, but more importantly as a partner, brings that much more value add to the mix?
It's a great question. Does anyone know the Fugees? Raise your hand. Wyclef Jean? Raise your hand. Hips don't lie. Move your hips. Wyclef Jean, I've known for about a decade, and he's not only a master of music, but he's one of those interesting musicians that I call a Renaissance musician. He's literally any type of genre Wyclef has touched. Santana, Shakira, Fugees, Lil Wayne. He literally put Lil Wayne and Bocelli together recently, right? On Lil Wayne's Carter 6. And so, one, he's just a genre-bending artist where you can't just categorize him as hip-hop. He's pop, and he's reggae, he's Bob Marley, and he's all these other things. So one, just in that category, he was really like a Quincy Jones and a master at what he does. Second, he's been deep in tech for over a decade. He's been one of the first, I would say, advisors to DeepMind, which now created Google Gemini and everything that we see now within the Google AI ecosystem. And so before Suno and Udio were a thing, he was already in there, really understanding technology and music and the intersection. And then number three, he's just a wonderful human being. And literally, I could not ask for a better chief music officer where when he speaks about music and technology, and when he speaks as an independent artist, when we had our indie music launch week at A2IM in New York back in June, and he was there launching it with me, he preaches the same message. And his whole thing was, do you guys understand that the Fugees started with 100? Jay-Z started with 100. Notorious B.I.G. started with 100. BTS started with 100. Then they grew that to 1,000. What's your tribe? You are your own business. What's your church? If you really think about it, he was a preacher's son. His father was a preacher from Haiti that built the church in, I believe, Jamaica, Queens. And so it's really interesting why someone like Wyclef, I don't just say, hey, partner and just drop an album, let's build your true fans. No, speak to this as a OG, as a godfather, as a musical father to the next generation of independent artists, of all these artists that are struggling, that he's like, hey, man. And he said this in our last talk. We were at a Fortune event just a few weeks ago, and he said that after his first 2 albums with the Fugees, they were advanced tens of millions of dollars, and he literally saw less than 1-2% of that, right? And then that advance had to pay back, and his masters didn't revert for now 20 years, and he's finally getting those masters back. And he's basically saying, I'm sorry to say this, the music industry is a slave system, right? It literally is to enslave you. Let me give you an advance, let me give you a loan, let me enslave you, right? And I get it, I'm not trying to bash on the labels because you're taking risk. But ultimately, what he's saying is, own your own masters, own your own recordings, own your own music, own your own data, own your fandom, own your community. And right now, this last thing I'm gonna say, he's like, when I started with the Fugees, he was like, it did take $10 million to market our album. It did take $2 million US to market a single, to buy billboards, to go get distribution at Tower Records, to go make a $1 million music video to put on MTV. That, by the way, this guy used to run MTV Asia, if you guys know. Okay, this guy's a man.
Just worked in Korea.
And so my point here is, he was like, that wall is now gone. That's the one thing I must say that I have to thank God for Spotify and YouTube and social media, is that you don't need this major label marketing ecosystem and 7 figures of capital to go market a record. If you do your socials right, if you do your music right, if you get your message right and build your community direct, like Lizzo was saying just a few weeks ago, she's like, there's no song of the summer. But I'm out here like Cardi B selling physical CDs direct to my fans because I know they are the ones that are going to support me right now. So I think Wyclef is that. He's an independent artist, always has that ethos, and to make him a partner is an honor.
Thank you. One of the interesting things that ties the 3 of us together is a little movie that came out on Netflix earlier this summer called K-Pop Demon Hunters. And both of these gentlemen actually have very interesting stories because they are part of the behind the scenes of essentially taking the K-pop fandom that was tapped into and is now built into and is now not just expanding, exploding, but amplifying across Asia, beyond Asia, just worldwide. Both of you have interesting, not just insights, but inroads into K-pop Demon Hunters. And so, Steve, I know you have a kind of a slight announcement, but go for it. Please share with us what your tie-in is with K-pop Demon Hunters.
Yeah, so the story was that, the first day they released the K-pop Demon Hunters on the Netflix, we prepared for the proposal for the official community for the K-pop Demon Hunters from the day one. Because at that time everybody just mentioning about what the name is, because K-pop Demon Hunters. But during the night we prepare almost 50 pages why you guys need to set up the official community for the K-pop fandom. And 2 weeks later, thank you Netflix. Anyway, 2 weeks later we start discuss about this opportunity, and 1 week ago we opened the K-pop Demon Hunter.fan, the domain that we purchased day one, because before we signing the contract. But anyway, and we gave the domain to the Netflix as a present. Anyway, so to start with in a community, we just selling the membership program. So one for the Hunter X and one for the Saja Boys, and many people actually in the viewers for the K-pop Demon Hunters, they do not fully understand what the K-pop fandom business is, right? But as the K-pop fandom platform guy, I just wanted to have the chance to what the K-pop fandom is, right? So for the fandom business. So we just opened the membership program. They just was very surprised in what the membership program is. And today in the morning we announced that, hey guys, this is the welcome kit for you. And many K-pop artists, they are selling the membership program, but at the same time they are selling the welcome kit. But the welcome kit is something like an engagement. Now we are family, and now we are the team, as a team for the this new community, and we gonna do more with the Netflix, and we think we're gonna do like the K-pop way, and to make them happen. So I think this is the great chance for the company, not only for the company, but also for the fandom business, because they can fully understand what the fandom business is, and now they can try something new, because not only for the K-pop, but also from the US and the other artists, they can start with a very small one. It doesn't need to be big, but anyway, we will show off how the fandom business works with the K-pop Demon Hunters. Thank you, Netflix.
Yes. And then, great, Jaeson, just real short in terms of what you were able to do with your platform for one of the key actors, or I should say in this case singers, and what you were able to do to sort of really proof of concept that this was really artist-centric, artist-focused, artist-first.
I'll try to do this quick. So when I first heard about K-pop Demon Hunters through my girlfriend, she was in Korea, and I was like, what are you watching? And then she was like, K-pop Demon Hunters. And I'm like, that sounds stupid. Literally, I think that's what I said. And then, of course, lo and behold, a good friend of mine, Kevin Wu, you guys know, shout out to Kevin Wu, independent K-pop artist, and part of the band UKISS, and now independent, in my movie K-Pops with Anderson .Paak, coming out on, I don't want to say yet, January, very soon. But he was one of the main voices, Mystery Wu, for Saja Boys. And about 2 weeks after the movie release, we started seeing K-pop Demon Hunters everywhere. And we're like, dude, you should totally do a fan meetup. And we sell tickets on our platform. We have like a part-of-full Eventbrite function on Openwav for artists to sell their tickets to a physical or virtual meetup. 80% goes to artists, 20% to the platform. He said, let's do it. So we got a little ice cream shop in downtown LA during KCON. We thought maybe 100, 200 fans max would come out to go meet him. We sold VIP tickets for $50 for a one-on-one photo and a signed autograph, and you could be in the Soda Pop dance flash mob with Kevin. Oh yeah, see that? All you guys are, oh. and we thought we'd sell 100, 200. We sold 2,600 tickets in 24 hours. We had to stop it. We literally had to stop it. And literally then we dropped my little Soda Pop little inspired t-shirts that sold out. Netflix sent us a cease and desist, sorry. And then we dropped his own merchandise. And if you bought the merch, you got to the front of the line. When we did the event, it was literally in downtown LA, around Soho Warehouse. There was literally 2,000 kids lining up from 6 a.m. to go into this fan meetup where they were singing all the songs and did the flash mob with Netflix. We posted it. It was amazing. Again, going back to Steve and what we're saying here is fandom is real. It can absolutely be monetized where it's win-win for both the artists and the fans to get an experience that they want. And I think we're just at the beginning of understanding what this new F word means.
Yes. And again, thank you, both Steve and to Jaeson, for explaining to us how the fan busyness has now become a fan business. So thank you so much for letting us run just a little over time. So we'll leave it here for that. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your Music Matters.